Greetings, Commanders, this is Pagan Horde, and we are going to continue our mechbay talk using the skirmish mechbay feature of the new Roguetech patch. Now, last time we spoke about Artemis 4 system and how the 120 Artemis missile was no longer a thing. However, I think the 120 MRM is still a thing, and we're going to pick up right where we left off using the Jormungandr and see if we can build the ultimate 120 MRM machine. See you guys in a sec. Alright, so last we left off in the LRM Artemis discussion last time, we took a look at the Jormungandr, I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, who has the advanced quirk of +2 accuracy with missile weapon. Well, this bad boy did not let us use Artemis 4 with it. So what could work with it? Well, in our current playthrough, in the main playthrough, there's something we've been using. It's been very efficient for us. It is the MRM streak. But before I do that, I must warn you that a lot of the builds that I do tend to get nerfed. I used to rely heavily on the MRM science. It's now nerfed. I used to rely a lot on the MRM 40. It's now nerfed. So I'm going to show you that one, but you know, maybe it has a small shelf life as soon as I do. Just be aware. So, one thing we had great success in our current playthrough are the streak MRM, because 2 evasion ignored by this weapon and +1 accuracy. The typical MRM, they have a -1 to accuracy. So if you use these guys instead, you're technically gaining +2 accuracy, even if the weapon itself is only +1. So this one does stack. So you get the +2 accuracy with missile weapon, and then you're +3. So +3 accuracy, 2 evasion ignore. This does stack. It does. So the streak MRM are a bit heavier, however, than the regular stuff, and they use some heat. So, I don't think, again, the magic number of 120 is going to be possible. Before that, I use a lot of the science MRM, which are 60 MRM, and I use this like this. There you go, 120 missile. I don't think we'll be able to do it with the streaks. I think the days of the 120 missile builds is over. But we do find out that the streaks, it does stack with this, and as one astute viewer pointed out, it does stack as well with the Predator. So the Predator, +2 accuracy, +1 accuracy, +2 accuracy. So we're at +5 with 2 evasion ignore right now. On top of that, because we can stack more stuff, we are going to equip the upper recoil plus, not because of recoil, but that's +1 accuracy again. So you get the natural +1 accuracy because of arm, so with +1. You get the upper recoil, so at +2. You get the advanced missile, so at +4. You get the streak, so at +5. You get the Predator, so at +7 accuracy and 2 evasion ignore. So if you imagine that the evasion ignore gives you accuracy, we're now at +9 accuracy. Now we're talking. This accuracy comes with a 400 damage. So let's see if we can add more, because these are a bit heavy though. So we're already at 32 tons of weapon. That's the problem we're facing. We can no longer do... That's why I think we can no longer do a proper 120 MRM. Especially if we want to go fast and have armor and all of that. So I put a 400 engine core, the best one, just for testing. I don't think we'll be able to actually use it. For now, we're just testing stuff. Let's go with prototype. So now we only 12 heat delta, so that's good. Let's put the almighty Clan Excel. And we have some tonnage remaining. Cool. We can try and use this, but plus 12 heat when sprinting could be a problem. Let's try it for shit and giggles. Let's go double Excel. But we're gonna need to add more heat dissipating stuff because of it. Let's right ahead put the zoom, because the zoom is the zoom, and exchanger clan. This works in terms of heat, and if maybe if we had just one heat sink or two, it would negate what the XL is doing. Let's go max armor. We still have 8 tons left, and we haven't used any of the other weight-saving shenanigans. Let's see. Let's go and that's risky to do that, but we are at full armor. Let's try it. Let's go composite. And the advantage of composite is that it doesn't take any other room. Let's go the classic. Okay. The other advantage of the streak is that you don't need as much ammo, because if they miss, they won't fire. Here it is. So there's 240 per shot. So you're firing only 80 of it. You have 3 Alpha Strike in a bin. So let's use 4. That's if we use 4, that means 12 Alpha Strike landed. So let's assume that's good. Then let's see how much weight we still have. And keep in mind that we're at 400 engine for the maximum speed that you can get with the 100 tonner. And we could with max armor as well. This is looking good. I mean, we could put a Gyro Excel on top of it to maybe save more weight. Defense would be the best. But for this thought experiment, yeah, maybe not you. Let's just go regular Excel. Still have 15 tons. Maybe we can get to 120. Maybe we can. Let's try it. Let's put another 40 in here. This one. Another streak 40. Let's put it here. We don't have enough room for the turret mount, however, which would have been great. Yes, we do. This thing was just going to move over. Okay. So we're at 2 tons over, and we're going to need more ammo. Now we're firing 120, which means it 2 Alpha Strike per bin. So we need at least 1 more ammo to say 10 Alpha Strike. MRM streak. And we would need to put a case and maybe other stuff, but okay. So we're gonna lower the engine to make this build sing. Can we lower just a bit to keep the 6.4? If we go 380, We're now down to 3.5. If we go 390, 6.4. If we go 385, 6.4. So, there you go. Something very important we just found out thanks to this mechbay feature. The best engine to put in a 100-tonner for maximum speed is a 385. So the 385 is what you want. So right now, this is working, but it's too much heat. It's too much heat. And we have the problem of the double XL additional heat when moving. So we have this to deal with now. So let's use prototype and prototype. Our heat delta is 10, and we're going to get additional heat by moving. This could be a problem. We might have to lower the speed to 3.5. Might. Let's rounding up the build. We're going to go full gunnery, of course. Gunnery support B. There is a lot of stuff to scroll through though. Gunnery support B. And we are going to use the missile range. This will make the range of our missile 20% farther, which is good for these guys because they are relatively short range. And for the cockpit, what could we put on your cockpit? Compact enhanced imaging. That's new. If we don't go the enhanced imaging route, I am fond of the rangefinder to give the pilot additional gunnery and to be able to see farther ahead. So let's put the rangefinder in. Okay. So this works. But the additional heat from the double XL engine clan will be a problem. Because you're gonna overheat. It won't matter if you're not firing your weapon, but it will matter when you want to engage. So can we reduce armor a bit to make this work like this? I don't want to reduce the armor on the arms because that's where our weapons are. Let's reduce. It's always a bit risky not to go max armor, especially when you're in the end game scenario. Let's go all 100 in the back. Let's assume we don't get back shot too much. $165 on the legs. Okay. So this build works. So the 120 MRM build is still viable thanks to the streaks. You're gonna need the best items in the game with the double XL engine clan and all that, and you're gonna get into heat problems because of the double XL, but you can stack all the accuracy. You can get a 385 engine to get the maximum movement, and you can fire 120 MRMs. It does work. So let's recap. 1 accuracy, 2 accuracy from this, 3 from the arm, 5 with this. 7 with the Predator. Plus 2 evasion ignore. For the one on the side here, the turret mount plus 2 accuracy is essentially going to do the same thing from arm and the recoil. So all of these will be at plus 7 accuracy with greater range. And 2 evasion ignore. So I think, guys, that this will be the ultimate 120 missile build that I'm going to attempt to do in my main playthrough. So feel free in the comments to tell me if there's something else you would like to see in terms of missiles. But next we're going to take a look at what I think would be the best heavy mech to support the Streak MRM system, which I think would be the Catapult. We're going to take a look at the Catapult, and last, for shit and giggles, we're going to do a super heavy build and see, just for fun. Just for fun. I'll see you in a sec. I'll just load the Catapult and I'll see you in a sec. Alright, so this is the classic Catapult C1, the classic of classic base model. This is the one that is the most common, so let's take a look at what we can do with that one, since it is highly probable you're gonna find one of these in your own playthrough. I usually don't use the Catapult in its LRM function, mostly because it only has 3 hard points compared to, say, the Dervish or the Crusader, which usually becomes my LRM platform. For the Catapult, you just get a +1 accuracy with missile weapon as a quirk. But that one, I think we can couple it with Artemis. Let's try that right away. Let's see if that one works with Artemis. It does. So this one, +1 accuracy, does stack with Artemis. So for this guy, we're going to keep your engine just as it is for a 6.4. So I'm not going to do strip equip just to keep the engine. Pardon me as I click through this. We're going to keep the jump jet for now. So, in terms of weapon, in my opinion, the Catapult is the best mid-range MRM platform. Now, but since we can use the Artemis, we can use this one in conjunction with the MRM Apollo. So let's do that for you. Let's say we use a double 30s, which is reasonable to use in a Pult. And then we can, well, instead of using the streaks like we did with the other one, you do get the -1 accuracy of the MRMs. But let's try it and see if we can get the Apollo running. So +2 accuracy, +2 evasion ignore. Yeah, okay. So it looks like it's, if you add the MRM attachment, because you had -1 here, but you get +2/+2, you get pretty much the same accuracy bonus as the streaks. But you get -1 damage per missile when firing Apollo ammunition. -25% to all range bracket when firing with Hunter Killer ammunition. What's a Hunter Killer? Let's take a look, shall we? So the Apollo reduces the damage from 5 to 4. Huh. But let's take a look at the Hunter Killer. That's new, I think. At least new for me. Ammo MRM Hunter Killer Clan. Ooh. Okay. But what's the difference between that and regular Apollo? I don't know. It appears to be the exact same thing. Kinetic kill. Now the heavy MRM, those are sexy. I used to use them a lot, but they don't exist anymore. they've been removed from it completely. Alright, well, you have other options like EMP. But for now, let's compare that with the streaks that we were talking about previously. Now, the advantage of this is that they will always fire. You don't get the disadvantage of the streak that they only fire when they have a lock. So you can fire this all the time to get a few scratches on your enemies. So let's do with the Apollo for now. So let's just use regular MRM Apollo. So these guys now you fire 60 per pull. And you have 240 shots, so only 3 bends is more than enough. So let's just upgrade you with the typical Excel stuff. Let's say that you only have a regular Excel because this is a Pult and your playthrough you might not be so advanced. Heatsink D, double. And we're good. We have a delta of 9, but that's mostly thanks to the medium lasers that we don't know if we're going to keep. So let's put you some endo, there you go, Innosphere endo. And you're looking not bad. You can do nice armor. There we go. We have 1 ton left. We're going to remove that heat sink. We're going to keep the jump jets for the additional shenanigans. Maybe give you a case. Now, can we stack this with the direct missile? Missile accuracy. No. It doesn't work with the Apollo. Okay. So in my opinion, the Apollo is not worth it. You need 1 more ton for these. You need and it does 1 less damage per attack. So if we do this build with the streaks instead, boom and boom, they're a wee bit heavier, but they don't need the additional Apollo. And these, let's see if it works. Missile accuracy, bam, it does add up. There you go. +2 accuracy. +1 accuracy, 3. You get the missile quirk of this. Yeah. So, but they are heavier. So, ammo might be an issue. So in my opinion right now, the streaks are eating the Apollo's lunch. So I'm going to give you only 3 bends of ammo, because if you miss, you're not going to fire. So 9 Alpha Strike is reasonable. 9 Alpha Strike is quite reasonable. We're going to remove the medium laser completely, but keep the jump jets for additional movement. Maybe just shave off a bit of armor, and there you go. Perfectly heat sufficient. And if we add an XL gyro for shit and giggles, but you could of course give him a defense, because he's gonna want to go in the front line. So let's do defense instead, for the purpose of this build. Cockpit, let's do comsuit. I'm just this is your personal choice really, but I do still recommend the missile range. Sensor. Where are you? Missile range. 20% additional missile range. There you go. You can also, with this guy, forego the missile accuracy and go. You could go with fire control system to MK2. because this one gives an additional +1 to gunnery and an additional evasion ignore, then you could put a missile battle computer like this to get your accuracy with missile. That's another route that you can take. Yeah, but the +2 accuracy will give you the best accuracy, just like this. So there you go. I think the Catapult A is the best platform for this streak MRM success that we're having right now. In my playthrough, I do have a bushy that uses the streak MRM, as well as a pirate bushy with the shit ton of rocket. With the streak MRM, the missile accuracy, it also works with the pirate rockets. So that's where I took a look at the system and said, yeah, those are better than the Apollo. So there you go. Just one more bonus thing about the Catapult. We're just going to take a look at a hero Catapult that is worth looking out for. See you in a sec. Okay, so this is the one I was referring to, the C7. Now the C7 is a hero mech variant, and it's a bit easy to spot because it is 70 ton instead of the typical 65 ton of a put. If we take a look at it, why I think this one is really worth looking out for is that it comes with a AR-14 sheeted beacon, which is an excellent no weight probe and ECM system, and it comes with the Chameleon LPS free of charge. The Stealth Chameleon is part of the mech free of charge. So it's really worth looking out for this. As you can see right now, it's already kitted up with an MRM 40 system with partial wings, so it can really jump really high. Yeah, this guy is cool. With the incendiary MRM system, you can truly ruin somebody's day with this guy. So, the Pult C7, the Pult 2, actually, always keep an eye out for it. If you see a Catapult with 70 ton, make sure you salvage it. It is a great mech. Alright, so last thing we're gonna do for shit and giggles, a super heavy build. I'm going to try to recreate a build I did in season 1, I think, which was the Master Summoner build. For bonus round, we're gonna do that. See you in a sec. So bonus round, Master Summoner. Now Master Summoner, and now there's a lot of new super heavies, so my opinion might no longer be valid. There's plenty of others that I have no idea what they do. But at the time, the Master Summoner is my favorite super heavy. The reason is simple, that the booster jet here allows it to jump at an impressive mobility. This guy can jump a good 6 additional capacity, so he can jump and has the mobility of almost a heavy mech, thanks to this. So even though it's a 200 ton monster, you have mobility with this guy, which is really impressive. So what are we going to do with you? I'm gonna leave the prototype here. I'm gonna leave the rest of the stuff in, just so that we can maybe see what we can do. Let's take out the ER. And as you can see, just like this, you have a good 60 tons to work with. Should we keep the command console? I don't remember if I left this there or not. I think not. Okay. So what I used back then, which I don't think is available now anymore, was the science stuff. The MRM science. I know the 60 got nerfed. I mean, I was using it on all my mechs, or almost, and it got nerfed. The MRM 60 is incredible, though, but it has a 60 heat Yeah. Tonnage 3. If you compare it to the 15, tonnage 11. So, let's see what we can do. If we do that, if we do that, if we do that, and if we do that. You're starting to see where I'm looking at? 240 MRMs. Now, you can no longer do this. Stop drooling at the screen. You can no longer do this. So let's take the heat bank off. And let's put a zoom. Now we have a heat delta of 58. So let's stack more prototypes. Heat sink. And if you have enough prototype heatsink, you can get that thing down to almost heat neutral. Delta of 2. There you go. Now we're going to do just enough missile to run it. Now we cannot use the Apollo stuff because it doesn't fit unless we do turret mount. But the Apollo stuff, do you have less damage? Plus 50% damage dealt to armor. Ah. That's why you're so... That's interesting. The kinetic kill is pretty sweet. But otherwise, if you compare the regular Apollo to it, I don't really know if it's worth it. So let's try. Do we have enough room if we do this? Maybe. If we put this, turret mount, it does mean we're going to need to put the ammo in the arms, which is not the best. But we could put some on the feet as well. Okay. I don't think it's worth using the Apollo extension. We don't want to reduce the damage. I don't think it's worth it. But we can place this, which is a full 2 tons because it's a super heavy. So that's not the best. But, you know, stacking accuracy as we do. That's how we play it. Do you have a super heavy... I cannot put endo steel on you, right? No, it needs to be super heavy. Does it exist? Super heavy composite structure. Right now we have 10 more tons. Shit. 10 more tons, but not that much room. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 places left. So let's Apollo it for shit and giggles then. Let's say we go the accuracy. Yoinks. 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 And yoinks. But now we only have 5 spot less for ammo. But you know, for shit and giggles, this build will only be able to do 5 Alpha Strike, let's say. But everything is gonna shoot will be dead. So how much damage are we doing? 1200! Come on, Apollo. There you go. So this works. Wow. But we're doing less damage. I don't know if it's worth it. Let's not use Apollo. And instead, Fire more. Let's see. This takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots. Seven slots. How much slots do you take? 2. Okay. So can we more? We can. Sure. How much? 1350. Alright. So you cannot do this build anymore. That's what I did back in Season 1, and it was just funny. When I fired that mech, it made the game crash. I mean, 1 time out of 3, the game crashed. It was not able to handle that much missile at the same time. But it was still worth it. It was still worth it. So these science boys do not exist anymore. But you could recreate probably a 200, 180 build with the Streak MRM we've been discussing for the rest of this episode. So the MRM 60 science doesn't exist anymore, this, at least as I remember them. But you can see you can have a lot of fun with a 1350 damage build. It will obliterate anything you fire up. Alright guys, this was the bonus round for the MRM discussion. You can do some really ridiculous super heavy stuff. Especially with one like the Master Summoner, who has a, thanks to their boosted jet, can have impressive mobility really. And you can really get in there and fire all the missile. Which in this case, that's 240 plus, that is 270 MRM. Alright guys, see you next time. Let me know in a comment what other kinds of weapon system, builds, anything you guys want to discuss. Next we'll probably do the DACA and the racks and see how much racking we can do now. So tell me what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.